I would imagine they're probably a little bit more comfortable on that map, but we've got to get through Mirage. We've got to get through Dust 2 first, and we are going to be kicking it off on Mirage right now.
Absolutely, and I do see we do have Akimbo stepping into the shoes of that T side. On the other side, we have got Marca Registrada playing on the CT side, if I'm not mistaken there. And with that, it's already going to be an explosive T side pistol for Akimbo. Already on the A side, bomb planted, and it is up. So one player for Marca Registrada on the retake, dualies in hand. Gonna be a first duel coming up against Laxi, but Laxi, what a headshot coming through on that Glock. Immediate first kill on Akimbo. They get a first round.
Yeah, not even giving B1 a chance in that clutch. And I mean, that can be scary, man, with the dualies and the Kevlar. We've seen what dualies can do, especially over the major as well. Powerful pistol to have, even on a retake spot. So smart of Akimbo there to double swing, take that fight aggressive, and be prepared to trade it out. So good strong start from Akimbo. They're going to get that instant window smoke down. Looks like it's going to be a mid play already. 4 AKs for them. They're feeling confident about this mid take, using that range to their advantage.
Marca Registrada playing with these pistols, and overall have got a lot of presence around mid here. I mean, Akimbo, they have full mid control, apart from, you know, Connector, where I'm sure they would love to hold on to it, but you know, we do see plenty of smokes down, just kind of blocking the vision, but those are going to start fading now as we get into about the first 30 seconds of the round. Jardani and Spamsy playing with the SMG and the pistol, but we see Jardani already striking with a first kill. That's ZY going down. OB, good shot to Jardani, but Majestics on Cat. Immediate response on the MP9, and things continue even numbers. Pew, pew, pew. Continues to find these trades back and forth. It is a brawl for mid.
Take a look over at the A site, because N2O has just walked out. I think he identified that Marca was set up for like a bit of a mid crunch. All 5 players strong there. N2O pushes forward into jungle, finds a second there. As Majestics falls, it's just B1, and he's kind of stuck on Cat with a pistol and a dream. Not much to be done there. Pew, pew, pew. I'm gonna have to make sure I catch that last pew. But yeah, pew, pew, pew. Able to clean it up there, holding that rotation. And so yeah, Akimbo strong 2-0 start, pretty clean all things considered. It got a little hairy there, especially going towards ladder immediately. Actually forget who that was that died, but losing that player towards ladder, that's where it started to get a little dicey. But N2O identifying that it was heavy mid presence there from Marca, and they make the adjustment.
Heavy mid presence, and also the reaction from Akimbo. They pulled back towards T-spawn, just kind of readjusted towards A, and then just were able to farm out the rest of the kills. Good shot for starting off with DY and Laxi, even Pew 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 getting in the action. The pistols have gotten at least a couple more kills here, and that's going to keep Akimbo really developing a lot more of the economy. Jardani in the 1v1 against N2O will not stand much of a chance, though. N2O continues on the strong start. 5-1 in the first 3 rounds. Pretty good overall there for N2O, but now Marca Registrada. This is where they're going to get their chance to strike back. They've got the M4s out, plenty of utility along the way, and even only 1 kit, though, so far on Jardani can be a bit of a concern. Majestics, there we go. Does at least pick up the second one right before we get into game time.
I know it was against no Kevlar opponents, but that shot from N2O, he tried to jump across with the AK in midair, just clips him in the head. Very clean stuff. He's obviously feeling good right now, locked in, as you said, 5-1 already, and he's going to be leading the charge over towards apartments. He's going to beat out that incendiary, and actually no sound cue here, so he might have a timing where they're not going to expect him this far up in apartments, but he's actually not looking the right way. CT's both playing off of Cat at the moment, so N2O going to slow down. Oh, and that was most certainly a misplay. Yeah,
certainly. I like the boost from Majestics. It's something you see every now and then. ZY hasn't spotted it quite yet, though. Majestics is high up, and there it is, a free headshot to Laxi. That is going to be Majestics picking up a first. N2O, the known variable from apartments, at least steps into the fight. Loses a lot of HP for it. Goes down to about 15, but it gives an opening towards B, and that is going to be pressed upon by Akimbo. But look what they've done. They left the bomb and spawn. ZY has to get the kill against Jardani, and that's just trouble for Akimbo. They left the bomb in a very untenable position, and now it's forced ZY into a 1 versus 2 clutch. Has the AK-47 in hand, but has to run all the way towards this A bomb site. But Spamsy not far away. 6 HP though. Doesn't want to go for that fight. ZY swings into it. That's a headshot coming through. AMC and ZY 1 versus 1. AMC starting to push things up. Connector has the Molotov in hand, does have a kit recovered as well. And ZY just trying to get a good position overall, getting the firebox, but doesn't want to commit to it just yet, especially knowing that utility can be a factor. AMC peeks over, and AMC gets it. A 1 versus 1. The headshot comes through, and around first on the board for Marca Registrada.
That was a little too close for comfort there for Marca. I mean, Akimbo leaving that bomb and spawn, I thought that was going to end up playing a factor, but both of the players towards B site were like 10 HP after their initial fights, and that just allowed that cleanup to come in, give the numbers advantage there for them. They didn't play the numbers advantage, but ZY unable to get the 1v2. A good attempt, but a big conversion there for Marca on their first gun round, and they're going to have plenty to rebuy into this one. Just the 1 MP9 for B1. But still not too bad. Allows him to get that full utility. And Akimbo with another rifle purchase. AMC dancing across window. Looking like he wants to go back.
Takes so much damage, though, trying to do that in the process.
Is that just from spam? Oh, N2O getting very aggro through the window, jumping, gets traded. Nobody there to follow up on him, so just going to be the one and done. But a kill in towards Khan, and ZY not able to find B1. He's holding it down right now, anchoring excellently towards this B site, and it's put a pause on Akimbo. They're rethinking where they want to end here. 2 players at the top of Con actually have already made it out into jungle now. Jardani not yet activated just yet. What are they going to do with this space? Yeah, they've got to be careful.
I'm taking down a bomb yet to be planted. Pew 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 has that on his back. It's a good kill from Laxi. That's going to pull Jardani back towards A, but Pew 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 shouldn't be bothered while planting the bomb. It's a 3 versus 2 post plant. Jardani and B1, though, the different positions that they do hold could be their biggest strength in this retake, and that's Jardani on 1. Obi and Laxi, though, in the 2 versus 2. Trying to wait this one out. Swing up Bueno. Good shot on the M4, and Laxi in a 1v2 now. Low HP after the fight with AMC. Jardani taps on it, looking for the ramp play, and it looks like Laxi taking his time. Walks up, gets the kill on the boost to B1, but Jardani trades. And Marca Registrada again on the A site. They have their success in the retake.
The fact that Pew 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 had the presence of mind to go and actually fight that Palace player, or at least check it to clear it, I think it's pretty impressive, because they were taking so long. They were waiting for that rotation to come in, and almost, if he was able to find that kill, I think that completely changes the outcome of the round, because Jardani, some big kills from that position, and obviously the clutch as well, and the defuse to get them the round. So Akimbo now back on the lower buy. First time they've been on it this map so far, and looks like they are still going to be out towards mid early. Very aggressive here. N2O up cat fast. He catches Spamsy completely unaware. Nade in hand, so that's a big pick for Akimbo, and N2O is not slowing down.
Yeah, N2O, love the charge straight in the window. That's a great way to get things started, and especially when Akimbo are on this weaker buy. N2O picks up another one. Jardani gone. AMC's left alone on the A site and caught at the off. They're looking the wrong way. Pew 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 gets into the round that's just teed up for Akimbo almost immediately, and that's Akimbo making it 4.
What a statement round from Akimbo there. That's the kind of round that they have in their bag, that they love to pull out in a spot like that, where you know, the economy maybe not in their favor so much, but they've got the pace, and N2O, he's always willing to make the play like that, make the entry happen, and completely open up the map.
See, and you know, I'm surprised that we're seeing this tactical pause actually called by the side of Akimbo after that round. You'd almost expect it from the other side of Marca Registrada, but given that this is an eco here for Marca Registrada, I'm not too surprised. You know, they can just be like, all right, we'll take this round, talk things over, and then if we need to in round number 8, we can just go for that full tactical pause and you know, really try and break things down on what we want to do. But for Akimbo, I guess, you know, just trying to put the brakes on a little bit here, try and figure out what are their next moves going to be. They have just won the round, but their economy is pretty shaky, and they don't want to get upset in this round, especially on Marca Registrada. They do have some pistol upgrades, and Spamsy sitting down there, that MP9 did just refund it right as I say it. Caster curse all the way.
Not sure if that's a spectator bug though, or if he just has Kevlar and just a USB. I don't know, but either way.
He's making purchases in spawn. He
was. Oh, there he goes. He sold it and bought a Desert Eagle. So he's got something this round, a little piece of something to try and make it happen. But yeah, I think that rounds from Akimbo is going to completely change the it's going to completely take the tempo of this half. I do like that they called attack pause on a round where Marca is not going to be able to get anything really done. Because, of course, you've got to consider, right, if they take attack pause on a round where Marca has guns, you're giving them a second to breathe as well, a second to coordinate, decide how they want to play the defense. So it is just going to be a stack from them over on this A site, which means B is open for business for Akimbo. And they're going to take that very happily and get this bomb plant down for free.
I mean, yeah, I certainly wouldn't be complaining for a free bomb plant like that, and Pew 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 is just going to be tapping away with the AK, already getting one. This is a pretty cut and dry round here, Marca Registrada. I'm sure they'll try and do something, you know, play for some of the exits here, but this is just going to be all for Akimbo to take, and Pew 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 is happy to do it. Already 2 kills, looking for the hat trick, but won't get 3 headshots, just 3 kills, and Akimbo, quick and easy 5th round there after that bomb plant. Marca Registrada, this is their moment to recover. They do have the M4 already pulled out, although Jardani doesn't have enough money to go for that fully upgraded rifle, having to drop down to the FAMAS instead to allow the purchase of the armor, to allow for a kit to be purchased up as well. And so for Marca Registrada, they've got a few holes in this defense that they're going to have to try and make up for as they go forward.
Jardani just with the 1 incendiary as well, going to use that already in towards A ramp to prevent a rush from happening. But it's that tried and true mid take again from Akimbo. This is their default here. They love to get this early mid control. And AMC's got a bit of a cheeky spot. I'm not sure if he can see quite over the corner of that smoke or not. But now the smoke is about to fade. He's going to back away. Flash out window, but not going to peek off of it. Still a player towards stairs. It's just Majestics right now. About to be faced with quite a few players. Obi with the entry up. Almost hits a second. D1 going to fall away, but now he's alone on the site with the MP9. A strong spot for it, but it's going to be tough with the rest of Akimbo and closing on his position from Cat. He's trying to get something done. You can see they're scared to fight him, though. The MP9 in this spot could be quite deadly. USP out is able to get one. Going for the reload. Obi just running in here, trying to knife him. And he does actually get the knife, but he's left on 3 HP. And he will get finished off by ZY. 3K on the round for him. So Akimbo pick up a 6, but what a way to do it. Already the disrespect coming out, and we're not even halfway through map 1.
Obi trying to do a little bit too much there, going for a knife kill on the van player like that. B1 able to just hold on with the MP9, get a couple of those kills through, and, you know, at least make it a bit of a closer round. You know, you weren't really starting to sweat it just yet. If you brought it to 1v1, you definitely would be, but overall, nothing too crazy. And Akimbo up to 6 rounds. You know, this winning one more round here, guaranteed they'll have that advantage in the next half. You know, feeling good about that. And Neo already a first kill to Spamsy, swinging back around, looking for a bit more as Loxy picks up Jardani and AMC. Oh, Jardani! 2 kills with that Desert Eagle, 2 headshots before ran down by ZY. And now a 2 versus 2. The B bomb site's been taken though, and ZY gonna get that planted as quickly as he can. Planting it for apartments to allow for Obi to rotate in with that AWP.
Yeah. Luckily here, Marca not quick to rotate, so they'll have plenty of time, Akimbo, to get set up on this post plant. Even a Molotov into under, actually, from Obi, so that sort of tells them where he's coming from. Gives up a little bit of info, but ZY just happy to take these fights and gets one, but quickly traded by AMC. So now a possible opportunity here for a clutch. That smoke beautifully read there by Obi. He's just going to play the time here, AMC to tap, but not to stick. Obi looking to check, but he's calling his bluff right now. And AMC, as the time ticks lower, gets desperate, feels like he needs to try and take a fight. And Obi to swing and finish it off. So 7 rounds here for Akimbo. And they're looking in the driver's seat right now of this map number 1.
But that's not to say Marca Registrada haven't been fighting their way back in, right? These ecos have been getting dangerously close for Akimbo, and especially that one right there. That was a round full of pistols, and it got down to a 1 versus 1, AK versus AWP. And if Obi hadn't hit that shot, it would have been a devastating one there for Akimbo, especially as they're trying to just keep themselves afloat economically. Good first shot, though, from ZY on that SWAT-traded AWP, picking up the kill to AMC, and now cool off as the mid-control gets cemented here for Akimbo.
They've completely abandoned this A anchor here. Just Jardani here and Khan. They're trying to fight towards mid, and it actually works out for them. 3 kills fall. Akimbo down to just Neo and Pew Pew Pew. They're going to have to clutch a 2v4 here.
Something that we saw probably 100 times at the major.
It's definitely doable here, especially after that first one brings it to a 2v3. But the bomb having to be recovered again left in T-spawn. That's going to bleed a lot of time here for Akimbo. They were in a position to get that plant, but that's a puzzling push there from Spamsy. Thought he had a timing potentially. B1 maybe with a timing of his own. Neo going to get that volley across, but... Oh, how did he not... None of those shots connected. But now Neo's stuck in this spot. He needs help from his teammate. The flash is perfect. He's going to be able to get the kill with the last bullet in the mag. And now Majestics. He recovered this AWP, but in the 1v2, it's a lot to ask. He's got the USP out. He knows Neo is low on HP, but he's able to slink away back towards Tetris. A strong position here for these two players. It's going to be so hard to clear one without getting swung by the other. Majestic's going to jump across. AWP in hand still tries to find the close shot. Neo with a 4K on the round. Already star-studded performance for him on Mirage.
Goodness gracious, Neo. Living his best Matrix moment right there. I don't know how he didn't get killed in that moment at jungle. I mean, just dodging those bullets, getting back into cover, and calling for the flash assist there. Perfectly played by Akimbo, you know, despite how awkward some of the moments got, and you know, they convert that 2v4. Very well done from them, and we see Marca Registrada in the trenches at the pace, running it out towards mid. 3 dead. Majestics finds 2. Jardani on 1, and Akimbo denied entrance in towards mid. But instead of a 2v4, they're going to be fighting against a 2 versus 5 if they want a chance at winning this round here. And that's already going to be a big ask for them. ZY and Pew 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 have been playing fairly well so far on this map, but they're going to need a big step up if they want to win the round.
It looks like maybe an oversight there from Akimbo as well. I'm not sure if they just didn't have a flash, because there's no way all 3 of those players were playing anti-flash. I just don't believe it. So maybe they're missing a flash or just a little too late behind it. Either way, 3 players just all sitting. I mean, you also probably aren't expecting 3 players at the bottom of mid. ZY does well to find 2, but that's all that is going to be written for Akimbo in this round. Still on 8 already, in a pretty comfortable spot on their T side, and they will have plenty of money to get one last investment to finish off this first half.
One last investment indeed. We see the AWP, we see the AK-47s. Over from Marca Registrada, going to be feeling a little bit plush, having a couple of those AK-47s, allowing for those one-tap potential here. On the other side of Akimbo, I like to see they've got plenty of utility just to give everything they got in this round. Good op boost already here for OB, trying to peak things down. Not going to be allowed to see much. Spamsy's considering a bit of a peek through comm, but doesn't want to commit to it just yet. And overall, first 20 so seconds of this round go relatively quietly.
I think Marca Registrada had the right idea in the last round. You really got to contest Akimbo on their mid control because of how much they try and take it. You just got to fight and put numbers mid, and it's working out wonderfully for Marca right now. And Neo trying to do what he can, tapping away. But again, just 1 kill is his reward as the rest of his team falls. And it's going to be a 4th round, so doing well to salvage those last couple of rounds there. Marca Registrada at least heading into their T side with 4 to work with.
Yeah, and I think a big part of why Marca Registrada was able to claw back those last couple of rounds before switching sides into the second half, or was just because of the fact that they really started to figure out how they wanted to control mid, and that was just pure brute force, right? They wait things out just a little bit, send the flashes, send the peeks, and then just purely out-aiming Akimbo in those moments there to just brute force themselves into a EMC. Gonna be fighting it out mid, and gonna be taking a first kill onto Neo. Is he why though? Attempting for a couple cheeky headshots, but ultimately forced away is Marca Registrada. They're running it up Connector and Spamsy and Jardani taking 2 kills. It's a 5 versus 2 in the pistol. Make it 5v1.
Yeah, pew pew pew. Be quite an ass for him in a 1v5. Start off strong with 1, but you're not getting through Murder Hole. Ain't no way. Not with the Glock on the position. AMC goes for the backstab, is gonna find it. Not a whole lot to be done, so a clean pistol there. Very clean, even cleaner than, actually, I guess it was about the same. About the same cleanliness as the Akimbo T-side pistol, but a good start for Marca as they're going to be looking to convert it. It is actually going to be the force buy, though, here for Akimbo to try and catch them off guard.
Interesting choice to go for a force buy, especially when the lead is rather slim. I mean, you do have 3 rounds to play with, so it's not the end of the world if you lose this one. You will be able to have that purchase once again when things are closer to tied up. But for Akimbo, I do respect the initiative of going for a purchase like this. You're going to be relying heavily on the Scout of Neo, on the Deagle of Obi, and those MP9s to be able to play the close range angles that they need to in order to pull out some of these opening kills. But what we're seeing is Akimbo leaned much more heavily towards that B bomb site than towards A, leaving Obi and Neo to essentially be the 2 bastions defending this site. And it looks like for Marca Registrada, they're more than happy to send themselves into it.
Yeah, and I don't know. He's stuck Ninja. Oh, a good start. Neo gets a nice headshot. And a second one through. How has he found that one through the wall? Now just going for no scopes through triple box. And getting aggressive with the scout. I don't know about that one. MP9's coming in, fighting together. B1 doing what he can. 2 kills already. And a third, they line up.
Misplay coming out from Akimbo. They had it teed up, a 3 versus 1. Neo, all he had to do was just hold the angle, play the time, and wait for the peak to come his way and set things up for, you know, for the rest of the team to just, like, pew pew pew, to just rotate in and go for the fights. But no, giving things up in a 1 versus 1 and then allowing for that spray down in the 1v2. Oh, B1 gifted that clutch there in the round, and Akimbo tried to end the round too early, and now forced onto Deagles here in round number 15. That's going to be a bit of a hurtful one. See why made it down to 32 as well.
Akimbo is going to be kicking themselves after that round. Spamsy quick out towards this B site. Just 1 player here. Playing in the smoke. Pew pew pew. Almost able to get 1. But now it should just be the Marca Registrada show here. The MAC-10s charge forward. Just Obi and Neo left. They're just going to be trying to do as much damage as they can in this round. But Spamsy, he's going to be trying to farm as much cash as he can as Obi makes his way surely to his death as he peeks Cat. They're even they're already pre-firing him before he even peeks around the corner. They know where he's coming from. And Jardani to finish off that last frag. So Marca Registrada, they're looking to tie us up here at 8-8 after that misplay from Akimbo.
Yeah, and I mean, we have seen Akimbo just kind of go for some of these brash moves earlier in the game. I mean, we saw Obi go for the knife kill at Van. We've seen, you know, just kind of other little individual heroic plays, you know, being made by Akimbo when realistically they don't need to be. And I feel like maybe Akimbo are not giving Marca Registrada the amount of respect that they kind of deserve. I mean, this is playoffs, this is quarterfinals. These are 2 teams that seem fairly well matched on paper in terms of how they've performed so far. And I think for Akimbo, you know, so they need to kind of get themselves a little bit more in check here if they want to better their odds of winning it. But overall, here comes the B execute. Pew 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 gets 1. Brian switching over to the AK and doing damage, but not going to be confirming another kill. And he gets it. And Neo, what in the world is running it out for 2 kills and even a dink towards Majestic. It's Majestics and Jordani on less than about 10 HP each, and ZY able to be the cleanup crew for that one. Akimbo right back on the board with the 9.
That's, I mean, it's sort of what you were talking about before, where sometimes they're making these aggressive moves that aren't necessary, but sometimes they just work. Sometimes that you do something so crazy that the opponent is just not ready for it at all, and Neo just swinging through the window smoke there, sees 2 and hits an insane spray transfer. That's completely turned the tide of that round. It looked like Marca Registrada had it under wraps already with that bomb going down, and Akimbo just decided, no, this is our round. We're taking it.
17 rounds deep. Loxy gonna go for the swing up towards top mid. Bit of a mistiming there to find AMC, but no harm, no foul on that one. No damage really exchanged. Things will be a relatively quiet first 30 seconds. We're not seeing Marca Registrada having gone for that traditional mid play that we saw Akimbo going for much of their T side, but B1, great first kill to Loxy. Does make things a 5 versus 4 early, and Neo against top mid. Good first fight against AMC, spraying for more, but Majestic trades and continues to hold the advantage in favor of Marca Registrada.
Yeah, and I'm not sure about this. You've got a player in ladder still, so Pew 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 can join towards B, or actually he's the player on Cat. It could be ZY to join quickly if they end up going towards this B site, but they're taking their time here. And there is some shots being exchanged over outside of Palace, but to me that signals that that's the lurking player. And Jordani, he is able to get the kill, so maybe that pulls some rotations. And look, they are making their way over to the A site. So even though that frag is found, it's a free plant here, Marca Registrada. And they have plenty of time here to set up these post plants. Nice hops there from Pew Pew Pew. He's gonna get himself on the Cat quickly. But this is a tough retake on the cards here for Akimbo. Some utility left. But look at how these players are spread from Marca Registrada. It's going to be tough, especially if you can't land a kill. And you can already see Pew 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 down to 15. ZY, good shot, but B1 going to shut him down before he can get anything else. And Pew 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 going to have to tuck tail. Has no time and no HP to work with. So Marca Registrada, they find their 8th. And I will say, I don't know, maybe this is just a T side. Who has the better T side this map? That might just be what it's all about.
T side really could be the deciding factor. Still respect the confidence for ZY to try and go for that. The 1 versus 3 after Pew 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 bowed out. Unfortunately, just the miss clear of the market. Didn't go for the full outside clear and did get caught for it. That was give Marca Registrada their 8th round, and you know, this has been what are we talking about, 6 of the last 7 rounds going the way of Marca Registrada. They have been slowly working their way back in here. Neo, good first, and even doubling down to Spamzy. Pew 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 drops over the gun, and it pays off big time. Loxy finds the headshot to B1, and Neo is thriving on 1 HP. That's a great way to do it. It's all up to Jordani. A 1 versus 4 clutch. We need the ace to win this round.
He almost lost the 1v1 to the MP9, which, hey, no judgment, because everybody knows the MP9 is no joke right now. But it's going to be an easy kill to find for Laxi. Just the 1 bullet needed. And again, what is Neo doing, man, over a window? How does he just stands there and holds his ground and gets 2 and still lives on 1 HP? Like, doesn't get traded. I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless after watching that round from him.
Yeah, I mean, Neo, is just going, hey, I've got this rating on for a reason. I've got that 1.28 rating of this event for a reason. I'm going to continue to prove why. And that was just a pure show of ego, I feel like, in that way, just to go straight for the mid-fight. But hey, pays off for Akimbo. They're 2 rounds away from a map point on their own map pick. But Spamzy wants to continue fighting for it, wants to try and fight to steal it away. Opening kill up against Pew Pew Pew. ZY attempting for a bit of spray through, but no real connection either way. For Marca Registrada, they do have a significant disadvantage of weaponry, but they do have that 1 player advantage.
It's ironic that Spamzy nearly getting spammed himself. That jump spot ZY acknowledging he doesn't have time to rip a nade here. Needs to have the gun up. Finds the first AMC to fall. But more behind him, and Spamsy, he's going to wait for some reinforcements here, potentially. That gives ZY a chance. Pull out some nades. Try and give him some cover, but Jardani, again, this Lurkin Palace has been doing so much work for Marca Registrada on their T side. And immediately it's the pivot towards this A execute here as Marca Registrada make their way out. It looks like Majestics just has a Glock in hand.
Ooh.
But Jardani, who you don't need a gun when Jardani's got your back, as he finds another from Palace, and ZY on 12. It's going to be a tough fight here. Gets one. And a low HP player in Palace, Jardani. I mean, he's still in this round, but that shot is so important from B1. Runs out of bullets, and Jardani there to make sure that the kill goes their way. Marca Registrada, they get another one. And again, I mean, that round, I felt like it looked good for Akimbo at the beginning with ZY staying alive there. But just wasn't enough in the end.
Tough round there for Akimbo. They had all the weaponry in their hands, but it was Marca Registrada that just those couple of hero rifles, it just does not go their way, and that is kind of how things crumble away. That falls apart there for them on that one, and does make things very, very difficult here. Now, overall, for Akimbo, still have that round advantage, and ZY, a fortunate first shot there in towards mid. It does take down B1. They're going to have to hold on for the rest of the round if they want to win it out. Laxi at least spots Spamsy at ramp, and that's going to be an indication that it's going to be an A-side hit. And even Neo wanted to prod in and try and find a kill. Obi is going to be the real task here for Akimbo to see if they can hold on to this site strong. Gets one, but Jardani trades. Laxi to push through the smoke, getting to bench, but it's continuing to slowly favor Akimbo as Neo mops up the last two. Jardani and Majestics go down. Akimbo's hold on to their lead, trading back and forth.
And that missed molly is going to be a nightmare for them if they're not able to smooth that out in future rounds, because it was supposed to go to under balcony there, and it ends up not getting down the ladder, and that causes them to have to fight through it. They end up running out two players into their own molly to get that trade onto Obi, who was playing on default, and they end up taking so much damage from their own Molotov. That's definitely a bit of an error there. Unforced error from Marca Registrada. And not a whole lot of rounds left to be making those kinds of mistakes. Akimbo on 11. They just need two more to close out this first map. And of course, it's Neo with the spam towards top mid. He's just so good at knowing these timings towards mid. A mid expert, if you will. Oh, and now it's Akimbo. This time it's their turn to crunch onto mid. Although a bit staggered here. Not everybody all at once. The smoke's holding them at bay for now. But ZY with this reposition could be quite deadly.
ZY playing in through window. Peeks down and does take down Majestic. B1 and Jardani left in the 2 versus 3. B1 still at least gets that first kill. Obi a trade. It's all left to Jardani. A 1 versus 2. Has the Mac M. Pew 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 though. Has got an M4 and the headshot. Takes that kill and puts Akimbo on map point. 1 round away from securing their pick of Mirage and going on to Marca Registrada's pick of Dust 2. Well, we still got 1 more round to get there, right? And Marca Registrada, they've been fighting tooth and nail even when things have not looked great for them. They have been able to find some of their way through, even with the lesser weapons. Although it seems that we have a bit of a technical pause coming through here. AMC has disconnected from the server briefly. And so, with that, we'll just need to wait just a moment. But overall, pretty good map from Akimbo so far. I feel like their CT set has been pretty shaky, though, but it looks like they're trying to finally stabilize that out a little bit.
I mean, I think it's really been... It's interesting to see the different flavors from these two teams, because Marca Registrada did an excellent job, especially towards the end of their CT half, at crunching on mid as a unit, as an entire team. You know, oftentimes we're seeing 3, 4, even at some rounds, all 5 players at mid early on, choosing to fight it pretty heavily to prevent Akimbo from getting the space, taking the space that they like to. And Akimbo's kind of doing the same thing, but it's almost just off the back of Neo, who has just had a monster performance in this first map. got obviously, you know, we've been talking about him a lot, but got to give credit to ZY as well, who's been anchoring excellently. Feel like we haven't really seen, apart from maybe one round over towards B site, you know, we really haven't seen them find much success over there. A lot of times it's been these mid-round pivots over towards the A site, and some big clutches as well. The source of most of these T rounds, but that jump gonna get punished. But Neo quick to go down, and actually it's an even 2-for-2 trade right now. I'm not sure how many of these weapons are recoverable. Looks like one still on Cat, and Obi there to shut down that lurk. Jardani. That was one lurk too many. As it's just a 2v3 now for Marca Registrada to keep this map alive, and Obi's gonna find Spamsy just walking through the smoke. And it looks like he might put an end to this map with a 3K as Akimbo take Mirage down 13-9 over Marca Registrada.
What? This is their chance. I'm looking to Jardani. I'm looking to B1. But mainly here, I'm really looking to Majestics. That's someone that we were severely missing on that map number 1. Map number 1 for Majestics was unfortunately a bit of a disaster, all things considered, where Majestics, you know, 14 and 18 at .94 just wasn't really that present overall for the squad. And big step up for Jardani to kind of pick up some of that slack left behind. For Akimbo, starting things off on their CT side. Marca Registrada on the T side. Neo, good peek, gets at least a headshot. Neo looking for a bit more, but traded out by AMC. It's a 2-to-1 trade in favor of Marca Registrada.
Looked like they were charging up Cat, but after those early picks that they were able to get, looks like they're pivoting now towards Tons, potentially looking to end towards B. Even Spamsy going to fall off Cat. And that sort of signals to me that they're going to be stacking up here, just taking contact towards B. Pew, pew, pew. He does not have any Kevlar, just the kit and the flash to work with, but he is being reinforced here. But as Laxi goes down, he's going to follow quickly behind, and it's just Obi in the 1v3.
Obi.
Yeah, that's...
Struggling with... I think that is, what, 3 pistol runs in a row that have gone the way of the T side so far in this series. All 3 have been won by the teams on their T side, so overall good start to there. But Marca Registrada, that's exactly what you're looking for. If you're rooting for them in this series, you wanted them to get the ball rolling immediately, and they have done at least that on the pistol round. They've got the 3 AK-47s up. We see a couple of MAC-10s as well, and a decent amount of utility on those MAC-10s to just try and fill up what could not be purchased with the AKs. For Akimbo, they've shown that the Scouts and Deagles can be a bit of a deadly combo. Can they relive that moment that they nearly had a Mirage and maybe change history a little bit and win out the round instead of how things went before?
Yeah, and interesting, too, to see Jardani. I mean, we saw in Mirage how he was so pivotal as that lurk player. A lot of times finding good flanks. CY somehow manages to get away with one. Does go down shortly after. We wanted to make sure he's not able to get anything else. That HE actually pretty good. They've softened up these players quite nicely with the HEs already. Akimbo in a position to maybe get something out of this round, but Laxi gets immediately deleted, and Obi not ready for that lurk through the smoke. Why? How could you be? Oh, pew, 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 and Neo still in position to try and fend off an A play, but it is not going to be an A play. It's going to be the B bomb plant, B1, to get this down shortly. And now pew, pew, pew. He's got a maze to make his way through to get to this site, and Majestics is ready for that push through A long doors. Marca Registrada, clean second round and starting up 2-0. Definitely bodes well for them. I think that pistol is a big confidence boost as well, even though they did get it on Mirage as well on their T side. But to start off strong on this map 2-0, definitely makes them feel good, especially after Akimbo 4-spot into that last one. So it's going to be another sort of light investment here from Akimbo as they look to save for their next round.
Yep, like the push up mid, but unfortunately it's not going quite his way. A bit of damage, but nothing crazy. B1 does get the headshot to ZY, and AMC with the AK-47 converts. Leaves it a 3 versus 5, favoring Marca Registrada. Pew, pew, pew. I like the shot to the smoke. Does get one. B1 trades, but overall, it's going to be relying on Obi to get some scout shots. Unfortunately, not going to be happening, and Running Mac 10, no armor for Pew 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 means it's a big problem, as Marca Registrada have 3-0 up. But Akimbo were saving their money, filling up their coffers, and now breaking open their piggy banks as they have brought just down basically to 0. Try and get themselves a first round on the board here and now. We do see the op in the hands of Neo and rifles all around 4 M4A1s.
Yeah, and importantly, they did not lose a whole lot of people in that second round, or that third round bonus round, so not really a lot to have to buy up here. Even that AK recovered from B1, trading it out for his Mac 10. So the fact that they're able to get those rifles and keep them up going into this fourth round, their money's sitting in quite a nice spot. Akimbo, this is a must-win round for them. And they really just have not been able to get, I mean, we saw in the pistol rounds that aggression towards mid did work out, and even the one pick off of the previous one, but this Molotov going to split up these two players. Beautifully done by Marca Registrada, the flash, leaving Laxi basically defenseless. And they're taking their time here, not exploding after that early pick. Going to use some util to keep Akimbo guessing about where the hit's going to be coming from. And ZY leaning towards B for now. But the bomb over here on Cap makes me think that Marca Registrada is going to take it towards A.
Slow and steady up catwalk. Neo, AWP. Good first shot there. Spamzy walks out. Neo posted back with the AWP. Does not spot it, but there's the flick to Majestic. Doesn't get the kill. Tags him with the AWP. Ultimately, Akimbo just backing away and waiting for the rotates to come in. TY and Pew Pew Pew, but this play at mid happening. Pew 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 gets caught by Jardani. And that's 1 and 2 kills as Majestic finds Neo. AMC takes down Obi. It's all up to ZY, and this is a T-side start for Marca Registrada. That doesn't get much better than this unless ZY can pull it back. They got a bit aggressive, Marca Registrada, but it nearly came back to bite them. But Majestic, that final headshot kill in the round, makes it a fourth round up on the board for the T side.
Yeah, and I mean, that was pretty impressive there. Almost almost 3, I think. That last player was low, just not quite able to find the shot, but it doesn't matter because it's a fourth round for Marca Registrada, and they're happy to take that, even with, you know, at the expense of some lost weapons. They made sure that not a single weapon was saved for Akimbo. So look at what their buy is going to this round. Some more pistols, a scout again on Neo, but they're towards mid heavy this round, and Marca Registrada a switch up. They're just going to head straight towards B, although B1 does get caught in that HE doing massive damage. Spamzy, I think he forgot to buy Kevlar this round, potentially. Or maybe he just ate a couple of HEs, I'm not sure. Either way, bomb plant will go down 4v4 on this retake. They don't really have the utility or the weaponry to try and go for this.
They're going to go for it anyways, it looks like, though. Akimbo AMC is shot with the AWP onto Obi. Time ticking down. It looks like Akimbo, maybe they're realizing this is a bit too tall of a task. They are starting to back away. Laxi wants to save that AK-47 and just maybe play for an exit or two. And we do see Neo starting to get in position over outside of T-spawn. Looking for it. AMC going to be up against the fight with the AWP and through the wall, too. Neo did not stand a chance. And that's going to be Marca Registrada on 5.
Yeah, and they're not going to be too upset about losing the scout. I think mainly it was just about having a little extra, especially for ZY, because he was the one who was going to be purchasing the AWP in this round, dropping it over to Neo. But, I mean, yeah, that's a tough round to lose. I think it's just impossible to retake the B site without any utility. Even in an even numbers advantage like that, it's so difficult without, you know, at least one incendiary or a couple HEs. Or, I mean, one flash can really make a huge difference. Retaking that site, and a couple flashes being spammed towards long. Marca Registrada decide they want nothing to do with that. So all 3 players going to make their way back over towards mid. ZY going for a bit of a spam. That HE going to blow up in the smoke, but he's not able to find any damage behind it. And a good nade onto Neo, who's playing off of Cat right now. Holds his grounds, and it's going to... Oh, I thought it was going to be a double swing, but he's able to get B1 and fall away. So maybe now... a mid-split onto B. It's just the one player. Jardani, again, has reassumed this lurking position, and Neo finds the gap in the door and gets one more. So just 2 players left at mid. Majestics, he looks like he wants to take a swing onto this. Gonna wait for the flash, gets across, but not able to get that kill before that blind runs out. I think Neo wants to go in for another. He knows the potential of a player walking out here. And the footsteps give him the signal. Jardani, he activates towards Tons, and he's out B, but the bomb's been dropped down at the bottom of mid, and 2 players already here. Laxi. Oh, he knows there's someone here. That molly goes in towards CT, though. I'm not sure about that, but he lands the headshot, almost finds the spray transfer. But Laxi delays just a second, pulls out an HE. That was almost a disaster if he had swung there. Oh, and that HE is going to seal his fate. What an awkward way for Akimbo to pick up their first.
It certainly got interesting. I mean, Marca Registrada, they did make some key mistakes. I mean, not going for the double swing up on Cat for that potential trade on Neo was a clear error. I think B1 just jumped up and went straight for the peak, and Neo was going, hello, I'll take that one, please and thank you. And for the rest of Marca Registrada, they just unfortunately were just trying to pick up the pieces from there. It just kind of led to more of these 1v1 duels, not quite going their way. Good attempt from Jardani in the 1 versus 3, nearly brought that one back all the way. If it wasn't just for having the low HP, that HE flying from Laxi, it could have gone a very different way. But as it stands, Akimbo are on the board at about the halfway point of the first half, and with B1 taking that first headshot kill back. Obi finally on the board himself. There's a kill there through. But now it's a 4 versus 2 as Pew finds Jardani. Neo finding AMC. It is kills just going left, right, and center here for Akimbo. And B1 left in a 1 versus 4 clutch. Gets one, but going to be facing a double swing here. Obi and Pew trying to set it up. And there it comes. Akimbo 2 rounds up.
Not gonna lie, Connor, I saw B1 there trapped in Tons, and I was thinking to myself, oh man, it would be so bad for them if he loses the bomb here in Tons. And then I realized he was the last player alive, so it did not quite matter if he dropped the bomb there or not, because it was not going to be recovered by anyone, at least not in that round.
No one else to recover it except for the dirt. 2 rounds in a row here for Akimbo. Can they make it a bit more? Can we see a potential Ongle's Pain-esque type of comeback here where it goes 13 rounds in a row? I don't know. Maybe we'll see. But right now, it's starting pretty well for Akimbo. They have gone 2 kills up so far. Laxi and Neo both finding a kill each and putting things up. But overall, we do see Marca Registrada in the attempt to recovery. They're pushing it out long, and there's Jardani. A good headshot to Obi. What's going to be the response here from Akimbo? We do see they're kind of holding to their gun so far. We do see Neo starting to rotate over for the long hold, leaving Laxi all alone on this Cat play, but he's going to be falling back for the moment. Just taking a more CT favored position. Ooh, flashbang through Majestic's perfect flash as Jardani gets the swing. That's another headshot. And this is all the way back into a 3 versus 3 before Pew. On the M4A1. Flips it the other way. Jardani, though, no flashbang assist there. It's just going to be the 1 versus 2, 3. Laxi finds all 3 kills for himself in that round. And Akimbo keep going forward.
And, you know, they did recover nicely in that round, but that was interesting to see Neo out that wide. I mean, surely you expect a flashbang there out long before a peak, but, I mean, they are able to get the round either way, and I feel like they've done a good job, especially in that previous round. Not the one that just happened, but the previous round at shutting down this lurk from Jardani over towards Tons. They've identified that's sort of their X factor there over towards the B bomb site, really being a nuisance, a pain in their side. And the HE's over towards long again, doing quite a bit of damage. Neo has been unleashed on this AWP so far on Dust 2, and that's something that we really can't say the same just yet for Marca Registrada. Their AWP has not really come into play too much on this T side. But Jardani, how has he managed to find himself outdoors like this? ZY completely caught unaware by this, and he immediately slinks away back into lower Tons. So the space given up, but 3 players actually anchoring on the A side. Akimbo not convinced just yet that it might be a B end tier for Marca Registrada. They're actually going to take some space towards A long, get some info here. Laxi going to take a gander, double swing here.
Oh, but they're not biting into it. B1, he's been left unchecked here. Laxi, they might leave this just completely open and not consider the fact that B1 is just staring there at blue, just waiting it through. Here it comes though, 40 seconds left in the round, and the push up through to the site. B1 could still catch the offer. That's Neo. Gonna get spotted, taken down after 2 kills in favor of Akimbo. B1 makes it a kill for himself now. This was coming through, but B1 running it up to the site. The bomb is down towards Cat. Gonna pick up that AWP. Ooh, bit of an unfortunate drop there. Forcing him to 1v1 against Obi, but still gets it. Obi, a big fumble with that. Now, bomb is still gonna be recovered. A 1v1. Pew, pew, pew. Employ 1, and there's the swing to end the round. Akimbo just hold on for a 4th.
Yeah, and again, a bit of a chaotic round, but Akimbo come out on top of all the chaos. And it was, of course, just the pistols from Marca Registrada, so the fact that they even get it down to a 1v1 is impressive in and of itself. You know, Jardani, again, you know, we were talking about the B lurks. This time, lurks outdoors and finds the opening for his team. And, I mean, that completely changed how that round played out. This time, Laxi in towards lower tons, being backed up by Cat. That flash not going to catch him, but that molly most certainly will. Pushing him out, he tries to get some help from a teammate off Cat. The incendiary at least going to do a bit of damage back, but not a trade coming in just yet for them. Of course, as soon as I say that, Neo gets a pick onto AMC. Over towards mid doors, actually. Smoke up now, B1. I think that molly went a little too deep. Another shot through the door. Spamsy attempting to jump up onto Cat is going to get brought down to 12, and that flash not going to catch anybody either. Neo does get down to, oh, the timing not working out for Obi there. Majestics, good heads up play to shut down
Absolutely
that flank through doors. And it's, I mean, it's a man advantage here for Marca Registrada, but a couple of these players quite low.
And this is something that oftentimes teams can kind of fall into, where they're thinking, all right, you know, it's a 4v4. We want to try and get an advantage. Let's push someone through mid doors. And that can be a very costly mistake overall. B1 has just found Neo through mid as well. And that's another huge problem there for them. Z1 gets caught, to pew, pew, pew. And it just is that sort of cascading effect of just losing that one player forces so many changes to come through in terms of your positioning that it just leaves the defense with so many more gaps than you had before. And now a 3 versus 1 in favor of Marca Registrada. Pew 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 need a 1 versus 4 clutch. Doesn't have the first, but just gonna go for it anyways. I mean, sure, money's not great here for Akimbo, but at least wants to give it a try, especially given the fact that 2 players are fairly low HP and could have at least a bit of information on that one. Ooh, it's the back of 1. That's Spamsy gone, but B1, the peek through, the headshot on Pew Pew Pew, and Marca Registrada continue to hold the lead, at least for now, at 6.
Yeah, and most importantly about that round, it leaves Akimbo with not much left in the tank, at least going in to round number 11, which means that, oh, actually, it looks like they might force into it anyways. A couple of M4s being bought up. All the money being spent here for Akimbo. Even though they do, I mean, they do have one more round to play, but I guess they decided they want to try and end this half 6-6. And I can respect that. It's just tough on Dust too. I mean, these pistols, look at this range that Obi's taking this fight with the Deagle. Definitely not an easy task. Oh, even challenging the suicide player as well. Does land some damage. How has he found that one through the door? A headshot. And an opening pick for Akimbo in an unlikely round. Jardani gonna silence him, but then quickly traded back by Neo. So still maintaining this man advantage, and Akimbo with a real opportunity, a real chance in this round.
Real chance indeed. For Akimbo, they just have to not trip over their shoelaces near the finish line like they did on Mirage. So far, it's looking okay, but Majestics, AMC, and B1 all have some pretty high HP to try and work with overall. UI 5-7 swings around, that's damage, and that's a kill to B1. Now 4 versus 2. Neo spotted and immediately dealt with there by AMC. But AMC doubling up there. That's Laxagon, but surviving on just 2 health. Majestics from the top mid. Nearly finished off the score. Pew, pew, pew. But the swing, that's the headshot. That's the bomb down in mid. And trouble here as they knew AMC was last spotted at Cat. A 1 versus 2 AMC. 2 HP, but Akimbo not much better off. 1 bullet will essentially decide the round for all these players here. And as AMC jumps through, Akimbo confirmed the kill. And that is round back in their favor.
You know what? Fair play to Pew 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 there, but oh, Majestics, I feel so bad, man, because he was in the position that could win the round right there. If he gets that kill, the last player from Akimbo is on like 12 HP, I believe, or something like that. And you pretty much have it all under wraps for the first half, but now you're you're on the back foot now as Marca Registrada going into this last round. I mean, you have secured 6 already, so sitting in a comfortable spot on Dust 2, but keep in mind all the pressure is on them right now. Akimbo sit up in this series 1-0 right now. Marca Registrada have to take their map pick of Dust 2 in order to push us to Ancient.
And this is a map where if you are, leading your team to success, the T side is where you're going to really show it, right? Obviously, a good T side is a hallmark that you can really defend up against some of the best, but it's that T side where if you're just dominating on some of the IGLing, some of the calling that you're making, you can make an absolute world of difference. Marca Registrada still leading by 1, but if they want at least to hold on to that lead, they need to win out this round here. Akimbo, though, much better weaponry, at least in the start of the round, but these Tech 9s, they've shown that they can be quite the lethal force to deal with.
Yeah, and I mean, Akimbo, they've done well to weather the storm. Obviously, a bit of a rougher start with the pistol round and then the 2 ensuing rounds going towards Marca Registrada, but they were resilient on their CT side, and I mean, it just looks like there's a couple of these rounds too. These most recent couple of rounds that Akimbo have picked up have been off of a few mistakes here from Marca Registrada. And when you look back at this map at the end, even if they're able to win it, you've got to be so careful because even little mistakes like that can cost you rounds. They can cost you maps. And we'll have to wait and see what the outcome is. Neo, it's going to be tested first here. Majestics dropping down to CT, does get 1. Obi there to reinforce his player on ramp, but running out of bullets in the M4, tries to drop an incendiary and get away, but they're not going to let him get around that long corner. So maybe they've made some magic in this final round of their T side because just ZY and Pew 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 here left in the 2v4.
2v4, and like I had said earlier, those Tech 9s can be a lethal force. They've absolutely proved it here. Majestics and B1 both getting kills on that. B1 even a double down. ZY now in a 1 versus 2, but Spamzy on the Galil makes it a headshot, gives Marca Registrada a guaranteed lead into that second half. But Akimbo definitely fighting for it at the end of the half. They were very competitive throughout, but Marca Registrada, some of those ecos just went through, and Akimbo could not afford to make those mistakes, but at least bring it within 2 before the end of things. Now we get ready for that second half pistol. Will we continue to see the trend of T-sides winning out pistols? Will Akimbo win out another pistol round on their T-side? Real question asked here. Pistols up. And Akimbo starting to make their way out towards long. Now B1 is here with the USP and ultimately is early to just leave the area, get out of dodge, and run it for CT spawn. Now Marca Registrada, they're missing so much of this info because of that early run back from B1 to Cat. Just going to be trying to tap to the smoke. Good tag to Neo, but Neo should have made contact. That B1 is over at Gandalf. Peeks back up though. B1, USP in hand. Obi gets the first kill. That's AMC down. The jumping dual Beretta is trying to make some magic happen, but the kills are slowly sliding the way of Akimbo, and even AMC can't get it through. It is just Jardani, a 1 versus 5, and ZY confirms it and confirms that for all 4 pistol rounds that we have seen, all 4 of them have been won on the T side.
You know what, Connor? This just confirms what I've been saying since CS2 came out. It is official. The Glock is better than the USP now. It is. I'm going to start dropping my USP on CT side for Glocks because 4 T side pistol rounds won in this series so far. And I mean, Maybe it's just because these teams are just running together. They're just running the 5-man squad, running it down, and just trading each other out. Sometimes that's all you've got to do. Maybe we should see more rifle rounds like that. I don't know.
Big rifle round. Tactical timeout here for Marca Registrada. They haven't gone for a big force buy of pistols here or the scouts like we were seeing Akimbo in the early game. See what kind of difference they can make overall just on the USPs. It doesn't seem super likely, but who knows? We could be surprised. And as I'm saying it, I'm eating my words in just a gigantic way. There's the scout pulled out for B1, although it is the only scout pulled out. No extra MP9s, no extra shenanigans that way. But ZY, he'll be learning about those shenanigans the hard way. Already taken about 67 HP of damage.
And I think the scout is so valuable on this map. I think this map is probably the best scout map in the current pool, or at least in terms of competitive pool. I mean, it's just so powerful. You can soften up some of these players. The USP is now just a one-tap headshot to somebody like ZY, who's already finds himself on 30 HP. And it's still going to be tough. They don't really have much utility to work with. Resmoke in towards CT, and it's still being held. They're just going to very tactically sweep through, clear all these positions. Akimbo not leaving any stone unturned. So it should still go their way, but, you know, I don't hate the purchase from B1, and I think, especially if he can play his life here and hold on to the scout going into the next round, it's not the end of the world for them.
Yeah, and the rest of the squad are going to have a full buy into this next round anyways, right? The M4 should be coming out. Majestic's good take on to OB, and Jardani could attempt towards Neo, but this is just pretty cut and dry. Neo is on a quad kill, looking for the ace, but won't be allowed that. Zai could be done as well. Not a problem, but B1's getting a little bit too fancy on the scout shots, and Akimbo ties this game at 7 apiece. Losing that scout is going to hurt things a little bit here, but it's not going to be hurting things to the point where they won't have a purchase. B1 will just drop down to the MP9. We see an AWP out for AMC and the rest of the squad on the M4A1s, but they're missing quite a few pieces. Notably here, Beerly, there's no kits. There's no kits at all for this squad. They're going to, so if a ball plant goes down, they're going to get that in the first 30 seconds. There's round done. Just purely went out on the kills. Even that's not even to mention the lack of utility.
I don't know why, but that smoke just tapping him on the head there. AMC just bounced on his head. Was the funniest. That was just the funniest sound I've ever heard in this game. I don't know. I swear I've heard nades hit people before. Maybe it was just because it was going so slow. But
oh, this round seems to be a dead one.
Oh.
Obi's been a bit disconnected, and looks like this round should just not be happening.
Looks like.
Looks like it anyways. Obi's out of there. Everyone's just kind of hanging around. Maybe Akimbo's over there in the spawn playing with the soccer ball. We'll see.
Ball. Yeah.
Maybe.
Potentially.
We need some more of that fun in our Counter-Strike maps, I'd say. You know, I mean, can we bring back the tic-tac-toe in Inferno? Like, come on. I miss it.
Honestly. I need to touch up on my bell ringing on Inferno.
Oh yeah.
Actually need to learn some songs.
Absolutely. Who needs learning instruments when you can be learning the bells on Inferno?
Yep. Me, when they ask me what instrument I play, I tell them I play the bells on Inferno.
The bells on Inferno.
With my
Let me
AK-47.
pull out my Counter-Strike and show you real quick there.
Yeah, it turns out not too many destructibles on this map.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, it makes sense, right? The OG source had many of those movable props and such like that kind of didn't really work out. I remember people were always trying to throw barrels on top of the bomb in old CS source, so makes sense why many of the items in CS2 would be static props. Same with Go, obviously, of course.
Yeah, the less moving props, the less problems that the game has. So, you know what, I'm okay. I'm okay with there not being a bunch of destructibles. But yeah, I guess we're just waiting now for Obi to reconnect to the server. I imagine that we'll probably see the same buy from both these two teams. Or at least a similar buy. But Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that scout in the previous round, it wasn't, you know, completely without consequence to Akimbo because they still were able to find 2 kills off the back of it. One was a tag finished off by USP, and the other one was just a straight kill. I think it was tagged by the USP and then finished off by the scout. So 2
Yeah.
kills, you know, that's something for Marca Registrada. I think it forced Obi down to the scout before he DC'd. So, you know, on one end, Marca Registrada have the AWP. On the other end, it's the scout from Obi. Obviously, one of those weapons much more powerful than the other. So at least Marca Registrada with a decent look. You know, you have the one MP9, but that can always play over towards B where you have a little bit, you can play some closer spots, or you could even have them pushed up on A doors. We have just heard from production that game should be getting back underway shortly here. Obi has reconnected and the tech issue has been solved. So, okay, we still have a couple minutes. But, yeah.
Touching back on what we mentioned there a little bit earlier, I think, you know, less props, less problems. Maybe just for the fun of it, we should be adding more props and more problems to the game, right? Let's just bring back Cobble and have a giant gate that we can just drop down on people. I mean, come on, let's do it.
Ooh, I'm kind of game for that. I think we need to get a map that has like a way to like summon a giant chicken.
Oh, you know
I
what?
don't know how
I
you do
respect
it, but maybe if you get like every chicken on the map to follow you, then just a ginormous chicken spawns. It just like blocks it. Like you can't even go down banana anymore. It just blocks the whole.
Not even see. Then there's the problem of getting all the chickens to follow you and keeping them alive.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially with the bomb radius in CS too. I mean,
That's true.
goodness, that makes things quite the challenge overall.
And then you'd have people in your 25K Elo Premier games going for chickens instead of playing the game. So maybe, I don't know, maybe not the greatest idea, but
Who knows? Who knows? We will see. I mean, obviously, now that we're just exiting that major cycle, Valve is sure to maybe give us an update. But hey, we'll figure out what happens when we get there. But looks like purely we're getting back into this game of Counter-Strike here, 7-7. Akimbo having just tied this up. Bit of a tech issue that did delay us just a moment, but we are back underway here. Marca Registrada, they do have the full buy, AWP, M4s, and that MP9. And Obi looking for a first shot, just not quite connected there onto B1.
Neo in classic Neo fashion is just going out B. That's it. The anchor is down. The bomb site's open for business. The MP9 at least able to get one back as B1 eats an HG in the face. And actually, this smoke did not land exactly how they wanted, so he's going to go ahead of it and try and deny this bomb plant, but the coverage is too good. Laxi to shut that down, and Obi, oh, he must have been heard. I don't know if he made a footstep or the scope noise giving him away. But this scout is in a tough spot now. He's basically been removed from the round, but AMC is already looking to save. Majestic's still on to try and deal some damage, but these smokes may just seal the fate of Marca Registrada in this round.
It's all about the time here, right? And like I was saying at the beginning, there is no kit here on Marca Registrada, so time is the biggest factor of all. And as it takes down, it looks like they realize they just don't have a chance at an AMC and the rest of the squad. They're just going to be playing for exits. Majestic's going to be peeked on there by Laxi, but takes the kill. AMC, a shot with the AWP, and that's just going to be trying to stay alive. ZY, 1 HP, barely lives, and pew 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 trying to hunt things down, but Majestic's already up through Cat, or AMC I should say, already up to Catwalk, and that is going to be an 8th round for Akimbo. Another technical pause called seemingly, as Akimbo have that 1 round lead, but looks like it was a very brief one.
I think it's such a heads up play there from Neo to just, you know, call for the flash from his teammate, just go straight out B and take the fight. I mean, it's smart. The money is low. You know that Marca Registrada has been playing numbers towards A long early and rotating in. It's a pretty standard thing to do. And so they just take their fight. I think the MP9 maybe was a little late out of spawn too. Either way, sometimes coming off of a break with a fast play is the way to go about things. And Neo immediately switching up. Picks up the AWP in this round and just opening it up. Ooh, that was a dangerous jump. Able to get into pit though, unscathed. Spamsy has not had much luck just yet with the sniper. Oh, and he's gonna go for another one. Neo surely. Oh, but he slides actually to the left. So maybe, just through the wall. And he's still holding the angle. Spamsy not afraid, and he's gonna go down. Laxi just a little pre-fire. He does go down to 15, but again, Akimbo, the driving force in this round. Neo and even Obi jumping up to get another one. It's all but over for Marca Registrada in this round. Majestic's looking to try and deal some damage maybe again. And he does get quite a bit of damage onto ZY. A couple of these players are quite low, but no kills yet to be found. And Akimbo, with 5 players strong still, should be able to close this round out and bring them to 9. Marca Registrada starting to flounder a little bit here, Connor.
It's getting a little rough here for them. Akimbo getting a bit stronger as the rounds go. What the? What? Obi, how has he gotten the knife kill? Majestics, what in the world happened there? Oh, I jumped on an Xbox and absolutely assassinated him like it was Assassin's Creed. And Akimbo, they keep all 5 alive. I thought for sure Majestics or Jardani were going to get an exit or frag or 2, but what is that, Obi? It's been a slow game for you, my man, but you're going to jump back to life with that knife kill for sure. That is definitely one way to do it. Getting that extra $1,500 and 4 rounds straight here for Akimbo, and by bomb plants as well. That means they just continue to stack up that little bit of extra money here than they would have if it had just been going by the kills. But you see from Marca Registrada, max stage loss bonus, they're not too worried about going for a purchase here. They're going to be more straightforward. Neo, though, burning down over 60 of his health so early in the round. Pew, pew, pew. Good first kill, but they have to be careful with the swing. AMC gets one, trying to hold on, but Blacksea takes the trade.
Yeah, it's again a strong start from Akimbo. Double Molotov, bit of an oversight there from them on towards Cap, but either way, it's going to push Majestics away from his position. And look at the sneaky spot that Laxi has found himself in. Another kill for Akimbo. Jardani, desperately trying to get something back, has been a little quiet on this CT side. Not able to find the impact that he was on the T side, and Laxi is just having a bit of a round for himself. 3 kills, but Majestics with the drive-by shooting. And he might choose to try and take this fight before Neo's able to get into position, but Obi just holding his ground with the AK and immediately going to rotate away. Neo has got the cross with the AWP. And I mean, I've seen the MP9 do some crazy things, and it actually is not able, Neo not able to land the shot, but Obi to finish it off, actually getting quite low to the MP9 at that range is pretty insane. But nonetheless, it's still Akimbo with the 10th, double digits now for them. And I mean, Marca Registrada, they're basically at max loss at this point, so we're going to be seeing buys from them nearly every round. But
I'm surprised we haven't seen any tactical pauses coming from them. This is 5 straight here from Akimbo, and they haven't really taken a moment to try and, you know, find their way back in. And, you know, sure, we've seen some different plays coming out of them, you know, different pushes, but I don't think they've really had a time to, like, sit down and just try and piece this one back together in terms of what we want to do to really see themselves into it. But Majestics, the smoke after mid, Majestics so low, and Laxi takes it out through long for the kill. He won the rotate, but Akimbo, they've already got that full A-site control, and pew pew pew. Spotted by Fancy. Fortunately there for Marca Registrada, but he still gets one before getting taken down. Obi finds B1, that's a bomb point coming through, but it's still a 2v2. This is the closest round that we've gotten, but I don't feel like this is because of, you know, some excellent strats here by Marca Registrada or any sort of, you know, trying to throw a monkey wrench into things like that. It has just been by pure chaos in the frags, just flying every which way. And now things kind of settle down that post, but Neo, went for the 360. Wanted to submit the application to FaZe Clan if he could win it, but fell down to Obi in a 1 versus 1. Jardani jumping to the side. Obi right in the open, and there's the headshot coming through. 11-7 now. Akimbo 2 rounds away from closing this series in a 2-0.
This is just the classic Akimbo here, man. Neo leading the pack, but Laxi with the 3K round, and then Obi the following round with another 3K. Just really cementing this T side here for Akimbo. And yeah, I mean, it seems that there's no answer right now for Marca Registrada. The rounds are bleeding away right now, and they need to get something back here. Otherwise, they're not going to get to see an Ancient at this rate. So they are going to send Jardani back over towards his B site. M4, jumping across. What a dink from him. Nice shooting, but immediately traded. And this is what Akimbo's been doing these last few rounds. At least this time AMC in position to trade, but it's just a 2 for 2. And again, the bomb is going to go down fast on this B site. Neo's still at suicide, challenging mid.
Nobody's hearing this from Majestics as well. Neo's Turn that information, makes a contact, but Majestic cannot quite get the kill. Spamsy takes down ZY. Spamsy trying to run it for this B site. Holding with the MP9, trying to get the retake, but Pew 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 takes down one. It's a 2 versus 2. B1 drops from site, has the FAMAS, but FAMAS versus AK, and you know what's going to win that. Pew 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 in a 1v1. Can he be the hero of the round? Can he put it on match point here? Peeks around, gets the damage, runs out of bullets on the Glock. It's pistols both ways, but Pew 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 confirms it, and Akimbo are on 12. Match series point.
And just insult to injury there, giving him a little fade at the end there as well, and giving him a nice little haircut. I just don't know, man. The Akimbo, the plan is so simple: go out, get a kill, get killed, trade, and they're just playing numbers, man. They send 3 to the only 2 on B site. Marca Registrada. I mean, it's nothing like unusual. I mean, it's just a normal setup for them. Obi now on the AWP instead of Neo, freeing him up to make some entries happen on the AK, and they're going towards B again, potentially. Jordani already down, and it was one to rotate in towards doors to assist AMC, who wants to make a play off cap, but ZY is already ready for him. Gonna spot the shadow, gonna spot the legs, and now it's a 2v4, B1 and Spamsy, and they are both over here towards this B site. Bomb plant has not gone down just yet, but that Molotov, actually goes a little deep. Okay, so a second one's going to get thrown in. Also goes a little too deep, but B1 with the MP9. Oh, and that Molly, maybe it went just the right amount of deep because Spamsy down to 36, burning away, and now he's just left alive in the 1v4. Akimbo with the 13-7, 2-0 victory over Marca Registrada. In the
one. ZY, welcome. Unfortunately, obviously not on camera, but hey, it is what it is. Congratulations on the win tonight. How are you doing here?
Thank you. So I'm feeling very happy right now because we won the game and we will get $1,000. So we're really happy.
Obviously, this was a series where, coming to things, playoffs, for this event, it had been a bit of an interesting one for Akimbo, going into that 3-1 bracket, and then having to play here up against Marca Registrada, a team that did go through also in that same 3-1. Vetoes, having to play Mirage, Dust 2, and Ancient, looking at the vetoes here overall, is there anything that you're feeling you were kind of missing in that pool, or is just this the exact type of pool you wanted to play here tonight?
Yeah, I think so. I think Mirage and Asian is our like 2 best maps, and but I don't think we're good at Dust 2, and I think we need to do a lot of things on Dust 2. To be honest, we don't really practice, and we're playing like pucks. So to this map pool is really good for us.
Yeah, we were highlighting that a little bit actually in the pre-show that Mirage and Dust 2 tend to be very puggy, style maps where sometimes you have, I mean, yourself on Mirage as well in combination with Neo, but sometimes you just have a couple players popping off, taking aggressive fights. And if you can win your duels, I mean, you can win the map. It doesn't take, a
Yeah,
whole lot of
yeah.
rocket science on these maps to make it happen. And we saw too on the latter half of Dust 2. I mean, your T side, talk to me a little bit about that because it felt like you guys had one round where you were able to just trade up going out onto the B site. You got a kill, got traded, got the other frag back, and then you sort of ran with that. The next couple of rounds, you kind of just you ran as a pack, and you were able to do that successfully, basically until the game was over.
I can't really remember what happened in the second half. So basically, we just like try to understand what they're doing, and we're gonna do something to counter them. So in the game, we saw they don't really like they took long and care a lot, so we're trying to go do some like pop stuff. So I think this is really good for us because we don't have any like strats, and we just need to do something like really quick, and yeah, that's it.
So obviously with this one, like we were saying, you guys are playing a lot with a lot less of that sort of deeper strat buck here. You're playing a lot more on the individuals. And so it feels like you're very much heavily trying to focus on your top players, right? And obviously for this game, it was of course yourself, it was Neo. And, in a bit of a big step up there, pew pew pew. But if we're talking about like just trying to elevate some of these fraggers, especially talking about Neo, given the monster performance he's had, what are some of the things that you are trying to do to really just help set up Neo for success?
Yeah, I think my role in the game is like it's more like the supporter, like to support my teammates, like through the flash and through the smokes. And because I have a lot of things that I need to do in real life, so I don't have much time to like focus on the game. So, mm, so my role is more like to support my teammates. And so, but overall, I think, yeah, I think I just need to like through the flash for Neo for my teammates, and they can frag.
Yeah, I mean,
It's pretty simple.
you gotta
Yeah.
respect it, right? I mean, you did a great job there. I mean, you helped to set up Neo for a 1.76 and 119 ADR. So I mean, you got to give
Yeah,
some props to yourself on that one. You did a fantastic job.
yeah.
All right, ZY. Well, I think that's all we've got for you for now. But thank you
Mhm.
again so much for the interview, and good luck going forward into the next round of the Dust 2 US Eagle Masters.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Have a good night.